Would everybody please stand? Hammond City Council is now in session for Pledge of Allegiance.
Can you please remain standing for the prayer? Heavenly Father, we come before asking you, Lord, to give us guidance and direction, Lord. We ask that you be in the midst so that we can do the job that's set before us, Lord. We ask that you bless our enemies as well as those that support us and love us, because we know we are doing what's necessary to move our city forward, God. I ask that your anointing fall and bless every individual that is assembled before us. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen.
Carmen, roll call.
Markovich.
Here.
Spitali.
Here.
Venez. Here. Halwinski.
Here.
Salinas. Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Hinojosa.
Here.
Opinker.
Here.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
yeah, I'd like to suspend the rules so we can bring out Resolution 13R-18.
Second.
Have another commitment.
There's a motion by Councilman Hinojosa to suspend the rules, second by Councilman Higgs. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Rules are suspended.
For the veterans.
Carmen, Resolution 13R18.
13R18, a resolution recognizing and honoring Veterans Views radio program for its service to the community.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I make a motion that we pass Resolution 13R18. I so move.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Hinojosa. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
as co-sponsor of Resolution 13R18 and with some experience with the show, I want to say that all members of the show and are volunteer. They do it for the good of the veterans and the good of the community. They serve veterans in Hammond, but they also serve veterans around the world. And without reading the whole resolution, 100,000, the Veterans Views is followed by over 100,000 people worldwide with the internet. They've been on in their 4th year. As I said, completely volunteer. Very proud to sponsor this resolution. It was a brainchild of Dennis Schultz, Don Schultz, Ernie Dillon, Dan Archer, Patrick O'Donnell, and many other sponsors that sponsor the show. Again, they do this volunteer, and a veteran service officer is always there to answer questions that veterans may have. And with Memorial Day coming up, you know, they do honor the fallen, but their show, as we will honor the fallen this month, but they also honor the living veterans who by their very nature are very proud men and women. They don't always seek help, and so the show provides a great service. So I'm honored to co-sponsor this, and I will yield to Councilman Spitali.
Mr. President,
Councilman Spitali.
I'm a co-sponsor also to this resolution. Whether you're a veteran or not, it's a very educational program to listen to. I'm sure there's probably more than 100,000 involved with it now listening to this program. And to give their time up for 2-3 hours, and through the week they get together and do this. It's a great program. You should all view on it. The exact time and the dates are Fridays at, what time is it, 9, 10? 9 to 10. 9 to 10. It's a great program, and thanks so much for your voluntary put it together for everybody. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I'd like to be added as a sponsor of this particular resolution. I so move.
Make a motion to put us all as a sponsor, Carmen. It's been motioned and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All the sponsors. Carmen, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yep.
Venez.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Higgs,
Yes.
Emerson,
Yes.
Hinojosa,
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. Resolution 13R18 passes 7-0. You're welcome.
We'll do our very best. You can move up some, the second row there. Chico, could I move up just to here? Okay, stand it. Mark? Okay, look at me for a second. One more, please. Thank you.
If Mayor McDermott could come up to the podium.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Mayor.
I wanted to talk to, I know that there's a lot of people here today. Sort of wanted to explain the process regarding ordinance 1323, 1324, which is an additional appropriation request by the Hammond Public Library. There was about a month, I guess probably even a little bit longer ago, issue brought up in executive committee about the additional appropriation from the library board, and it was suggested that last year, instead of combining two separate requests like the Hammond Library did, they had a request for an additional budget appropriation along with an appropriation from a rainy day fund, and when it was denied by the council and the mayor, it shot both of the requests down. So 4 or 6 weeks ago, it was suggested that why don't we separate these two issues and bring the request from the rainy day fund separately so it doesn't mix itself with the tax cap ramifications. So this is 1323 and 1324. At the executive session, I've heard the council mention that June 10th was going to be a date for the public hearing.
That's correct.
And then after that public hearing, I imagine that night it'll be ready for voting. For
Final read,
that.
third and final reading, correct.
So it seems to me that there's a lot of people that believe this is a contentious issue, and I don't believe this particular issue about the appropriation from the rainy day fund is a contentious issue. So I just wanted to let everybody know that tonight, I don't think anything else is going to happen in regards to this issue because we have to have a public hearing, and I don't anticipate, unless something flares up, I don't anticipate problems that night. So hopefully we'll have an answer for a lot of people in the crowd June 10th about what's going to happen with this request, but it seems like it's moving along as we anticipated at this point.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir.
Mr. President, point of order. I'd like to make a motion to go back into the regular order of business before we continue.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hinojosa, second by Councilman Higgs, to go back to regular order of business. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
addressing the particular issue as it relates to the library, certainly there are a number of my constituents and members of the community as a whole here tonight in regards to this particular issue. There are procedures that have to be followed in respect to these particular ordinances, 1323 and 1324, which I happen to be the sponsor of. What has to happen is it's going to go through first and second reading tonight, and a public hearing, because it's a reappropriation, has to happen, and that's going to take place on June 10th. However, if we would have had the meeting 2 weeks ago, we would be much further in this particular issue, but because the meeting was canceled for a number of reasons, and Councilman O'Pinker canceled the meeting. We're addressing the issue tonight. So what's going to happen is going to go to first and second reading, council as a whole. And then from that point on, there's a public hearing, which allows the public to come before this body, the legislators of the city of Hammond, and address any concerns or issues that they may have in respect to these particular ordinances. Then we can go into third and final reading, and finally the money will be relinquished. So that's the procedure, and it has to be followed by law.
That's correct.
Right.
Mr. Mayor?
And I want to make one more thing. Is 13R15 resolution coming out tonight, Mr. President?
Yes, well,
Councilman Markovich was in an executive session.
he wasn't in the caucus, and we weren't going to bring it out.
Is that coming out tonight, Councilman Markovich, regarding the county option income tax, or the county income tax?
They said that they would bring it out tonight since we didn't have a meeting last week or last month.
Does that mean you're bringing it out?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, no problem. Thanks.
Okay, moving on. Distribution of council scholarship awards.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
before we get started, I'd like to have Mr. Barry Tyler come up from the Legacy Foundation and say a few words. The Legacy Foundation is actually the administrating body for the Hammond Scholarships, and if we allow him, please, to say a few words.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
as one of the legislators of this fiscal body, I am also the chairman of the Scholarship Fund, so we're certainly proud to see him here this evening in regards to the scholarship funds.
Go ahead, sir.
Thank you. Once again, my name is Barry Tyler, and I'm a Hammond native and a 2002 graduate of Hammond High School. And I just want to thank you all for your service to the Hammond community, and tonight just for allowing me to come up here and say a few words. I just briefly want to congratulate the students on all of their hard work and to wish you good luck in the future as you move on to your future endeavors. For all intents and purposes, I will be your main contact at Legacy Foundation. And I guess we have students on both sides. And I'll also have an annual report that we would like for you to take with you, and it gives you more information about Legacy Foundation, what we do, and how to get in contact with us. I'm the program officer, and for those that don't know, Legacy Foundation is the community foundation for all of Lake County, and what we do is we provide grants and scholarships for the Lake County community. As of right now, we manage about 30 or 35 different scholarship funds that range from scholarships like the Hammond Common Council to other scholarships that like the Lilly Scholarship, which is a full tuition scholarship to any Indiana State College or university. So with that being said, I want to once again congratulate you students on your hard work. Legacy Foundation understands the importance of a higher education, and that's why we're here today, to congratulate you and to say good luck in the future. Thank you.
Now, if we can have, Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
if we can have the young lady step forward and we can congratulate our recipients.
Well, it is really nice to see you here tonight, Barry, from the Legacy Foundation, because I've been doing this for a number of years, and we've never had a representative from Legacy show up, so that was really nice. I'm Mrs. Myrick, and I'm Chief Administrator for Academic Services for the School City of Hammond, and it is an honor to be here this evening. I really appreciate the support that you give our students in the School City of Hammond. As you know, the Hammond Common Council Scholarship Fund was established in 2000. The Hammond Council members worked with the School City of Hammond administrators and the Legacy Foundation to set up the program after the Hammond Common Council received a $300,000 endowment donation from Whitco Industries. The money was donated as part of the sale of Optimus Park to Whitco. The endowment, which is managed by the Legacy Foundation, uses only the interest to fund the scholarships, and the number of scholarships may vary from year to year depending on interest rates. The Council's intent is to encourage Hammond students to go to college and reach their goals. High school seniors attending Hammond High Schools have the opportunity to receive a $1,000 scholarship if they have the following criteria met. They must enroll in a college or university of a student's choice as a full-time student. They must enter a 2- or 4-year degree program, and they must have a minimum GPA of C or above. This year, we're going to award the number following number of scholarships: 1 to Bishop Knoll, 3 to Clark High School, 3 to Gavitt High School, 4 to Hammond High School, and 4 to Morton High School. And that depends upon their enrollment in their graduating class also. I do want to give a special shout out to 2 very important people to me in this whole process. First of all, Councilman Higgs, who, whenever I have a question or concern, I can always pick up the phone, leave him a message, and he gets back to me so quickly. So I appreciate all the help that you give me in this process, Councilman. And then Councilman Emerson, when the last council meeting got canceled, we ended up drawing the scholarship winners in my office with Councilman Emerson present. And if I believe it's the 2nd year in a row we've had to do it that way, because last year I had surgery, so we kind of made do that way. So I appreciate the help you've given us in that. So
You're welcome.
at this time, I am going to I'll call on representatives from each of the schools to introduce their scholarship winners. And I don't know if you ladies have a list, but I have a list for you if you'd like it, with their names and everything. First of all, I'd like to call upon the Director of Guidance from Bishop Knoll Institute, Michelle Arnold.
Hi, I would just like to say thank you all for helping make this scholarship possible. It's wonderful every time our students are recognized for the hard work that they do throughout high school. Our recipient from Bishop Knoll is Jessica Smith. Jessica will be studying pre-veterinary science. Her college of choice is yet to be determined. She's been a wonderful student, a member of NHS, and just a gracious, conscientious, and articulate young woman. So thank you, Jessica.
And Jessica, why don't you stay up here, because I guess they're going to get a picture of everybody. Okay, so they don't want you to go back. At this point, I would like to introduce Miss Lydia Gill, who's the assistant principal at Clark Middle School High School.
Good evening. These students are highly involved in various sports. They're very active. They are also very focused where academics are concerned. We have, first of all, Lauren Sally. She's going to go to the School of IUN and major in radiology, focusing on radiological science. Lauren? We also have Edward Piesensny, and he was accepted at Purdue Cal, and he will major in nursing. Edward? And finally, we have Manuel Palacios, and he was accepted at IU Bloomington with the group program, and he will start classes June 15th, and he will major in criminal justice.
Thank you, Ms. Gill. At this time, I'd like to call Michelle Ondas up to the podium. She's the principal of Gavitt Middle School High School.
Good evening. I'd like to call up, I have 3 wonderful, outstanding students. The first student I'd like to call up is Helen Shelton. She is a 4-year volleyball player, 4-year softball player, 4-year swimmer for Gavitt. She got accepted into Valparaiso University, where she plans on majoring in mechanical engineering. Helen? I'd like to call up Jacob Jimenez. Jacob has been a 4-year football player for us, and he is taking on the Relay for Life June 1st for Gavitt. He got accepted into Indiana State University, where he will be majoring in electrical engineering. And last but not least, I'd like to call up Austin Franco, who will be attending the Art Institute in Chicago. And he has been busy with his band, and actually his band will be performing. His band is called Chase Skylines. They will be performing at the Relay of Life on June 1st in Whiting. So, Austin.
Thank you, Ms. Ondas. And at this time, I'd like to call up Ms. Leslie Anders, the principal of Hammond High School.
Good evening, everyone. President, it's an honor to be here. We have a bunch of dynamic students with us here tonight who have also been involved in numerous activities at Hammond High School, where we've made tremendous gains at Hammond High School. I'm first going to bring to you Bianca Santana. Bianca has to choose from a lot of schools, and she hasn't made up her mind which one she's going to attend yet, so we're going to start with Bianca. With that being said, it is so wonderful for my Wildcats to finally get a chance and an opportunity to say that they can choose from numerous colleges and universities. Man, just terrific. Next, we have Diana Vargas. She will be attending Ivy Tech. Next, I'd like to bring to you one of the bosses of our office, Deanna Scott. Come on up. She'll be attending Indiana State. Last but not least, talking about the gains that Hammond High has made. This young man right here, I was on a radio show a couple of weeks ago, and I talked about how my first year at Hammond High, some of our students weren't even accepted to Purdue in Lafayette, nor IU in Bloomington. This young man right here, I'm going to bring him up, Mr. Aureli Rodriguez. He is a 4-year, full-ride attendee to Notre Dame in the fall.
Thank you, Ms. Yanders. And at this time, I would like to call up the acting principal at Morton High School, Mr. Greg Easton.
First of all, thank you very much. And as a proud Hammond resident, I'm thrilled with the work that's going on and the support of our Hammond students. And as a proud 1978 graduate, governor of Morton High School, I'm thrilled to make these presentations. Again, all of our students that we have tonight are they're athletes, they're scholars, they are involved in numerous activities and involved in the performing arts. So our first is Samantha Couch. And Samantha is going to tell you what she's studying and where she's studying it.
I'm a microbiology major at Indiana University Bloomington.
Our second recipient is Michael Hernandez. Michael?
I'm going to be studying mass communications at IU Bloomington.
Our third recipient is Jasmine Knowles. Jasmine?
I will be going to IU Bloomington to study social work or psychology.
And our final recipient is Genesis Tarver.
I'll be studying nursing at Indiana State University.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to all of you recipients.
If all you folks would stand, Jake, actually, I think we're going to stand up here, the council, and all the students behind here.
I have a request. The cameraman has a request. Pray this chair doesn't break.
I want to say one comment. I was just noting, congratulations to the class of 2013. I've been doing this for like 7 years. This is the first time in my 7 years that I've been doing it, we have had 100% attendance for the scholarships tonight, so that's a great thing. Congratulations. Especially Samantha, who came from a softball game to make it here tonight. Good job.
Which they won.
If you can scoot that just a hair tight there. Okay. Everybody look at me. Good thing about a cameraman, he can tell anybody what to do for about 5 seconds. One more, please. So our family might like to take a picture.
All right, folks, if you want to stay for the full council meeting, you're more than welcome.
Take a recess.
If not, I'm sure you got other things to do also.
Mr. Chairman?
Councilman Kowinski.
As they're walking out, I just want to thank Hammond Clark High School for participating in the Memorial Day Parade on May 27th in North Hammond. And we're still waiting a response from a couple other high schools in the Hammond area, so we're hoping to get a few lively bands in there. And I just want to say thank you for those schools for wanting to participate in the parade.
Here's the option. I'll try to get a little bit there.
All right, moving on to reading of minutes. Councilman Spitali.
Mr. President,
Councilman Spitali.
make a motion to accept the minutes from April 8th, 2013.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Emerson to accept the minutes. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes passed.
Mr. President, we have to go back to business, right?
We
Did
did.
that?
We did.
We did, okay.
Moving on to approval of claims, Councilman Higgs.
I think, Mr. President, Councilman Markovich is going to handle that tonight.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich.
move for approval of claims April 3rd through May 8th, 2013 for council meeting May 13th, beginning with claims dated 4/10/13 and ending with claims dated 5/8/13, claims number 1816 through 2410 inclusive, for a total of $10,284,772.32. I so move.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich.
I have one addition, claim number 2411, Ballet Forcolario, $120, donation from Councilman Heniosa for tickets for their fundraiser. I so move.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Spitali.
also too, we need to amend 2176, Boys and Girls Club. Fee was 2,500, make it up to 3,000. So move. Where's the claim on that one?
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Emerson. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
what's the claim number for that particular?
2176.
2176.
Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
call for the vote.
Carmen, roll call vote on the amended version of the claims.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. Amended claims pass 7-0. Now, Carmen, claims as is.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. Claims pass 7-0. Moving on, public hearing, there is none. Number 7, communications.
Mr.
I have a
President.
letter. I received this letter a few hours ago. It is dated May 13, 2013. Dear President Opinker, due to the legal issues I have pending upon me, I would like to inform you that as of today, May 13th, 2013, I will be resigning as 2nd District Councilman for the City of Hammond, Indiana. It has been a pleasure to work beside you during the course of the years. Sincerely, Alfonso Salinas, Jr.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I'd just like to say that it's been a pleasure working with Councilman Salinas, and I will definitely be in prayer for him as well as his family.
Any other communications?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
Who Got Game, East Hammond 9th Annual 3-on-3 Basketball Tournament, sponsored by yours truly, Councilman Anthony Higgs, at Martin Luther King Park, formerly known as Maywood Park, Hammond and Tapper Avenue, Saturday, June 22nd, 2013, all day beginning at 8 a.m. Age divisions free for 10 to 12-year-olds, 13 to 15, 16 to 18 free. 19 and up is a $100 fee, and the recipients will win a prize. All recipients, as well as those who participate, will receive a T-shirt as well as trophies. All participants will also receive a cash prize of $19 years of age and up. Last day for registration is June 8, 2013. No exceptions. Contact Paul Buck, Councilman Anthony Higgs, or Charles Comer. Look forward to seeing you there. 9th Annual. Woo!
Any other communications? Any other communications?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
just going to rebuttal on a couple of issues about the flooding in my particular district. As you all know, there was some flooding, seepage that came in our basements. In regards to that particular issue, I did contact Frank Mervan, and at some point he contacted me back and let me know that there were buckets, mops, and brooms that were available. So the resources that were available, I tried to get the information out as quickly as possible to my constituents in the community. I'm only one person. I did what I thought was feasible. A few years back, we had a flooding that happened in our particular city all over. There were no proceeds or no funding available. I stepped to the plate, me, being Councilman Higgs, submitted a letter to the governor of the state of this great state of Indiana, in which FEMA stepped up, and guess what? All my constituents received something in regards to the flooding issue. So when it comes to addressing the needs of my community and my city, I'm there.
Any other communications? Communications is now closed. Committee reports.
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I'd like to move for third and final reading of ordinance 13-20.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higgs for third and final reading on 1320. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich?
what is 13-20? Is he going to read it by title, or we're just?
You can have, Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
we can have the clerk read that in its entirety.
Not its entirety.
Well, the prefix of the.
This is what we'll do. We're going to have, since Councilman Markovich wasn't at the caucus, Kurt Cook, could you come up and go over that ordinance?
Is it the fees?
Yes.
Okay, then don't worry about it. I
Disregard.
just wanted it by title, and that's it.
Right.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa?
did we come out with committee reports about which ones are going to come out yet? Did we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Any other discussion on 1320?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I thought it was some amendments in that.
There is.
He got to make a motion to amend.
Well, I didn't know if she was going to read it or not. She's not.
Oh, this is committee reports? Did he name the ones we're pulling out?
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson?
I move to amend 1320.
No. Mr. President, point of order.
Councilman Higgs?
What has to happen now at this particular point, Councilman Emerson, you have to address the ones that you're bringing out. And then once we bring them out, then you can make the motion, and it needs to be second.
Exactly.
So all three of them? All right.
Yes.
I move to third and final reading. I move to bring out 13-20, 13-21, and 13-22.
Thank you, Thank you, Councilman Emerson. Any other ordinances coming out? Now, moving to ordinances, third and final reading.
I move that ordinance 13-20 moves.
Mr. President.
Councilman Higgs.
Point of order. The clerk reads the ordinance, and then Councilman Emerson, then you address it with the number.
That's correct.
And the motion.
Carmen?
1320, an ordinance amending ordinance numbers 3947, 4307, and ordinance 8383, also known as section 156.20 of the Hammond Municipal Code pertaining to plumbing permit fees in the city of Hammond.
Mr. President.
Councilman Emerson.
I move to amend ordinance -1320 and.
First, point of order, Mr. President. First, you need to make a motion. and
Make a
then-
motion for the amendment.
The final passage.
No.
I said I moved to amend.
No, you don't amend it. You have to introduce it. So first make the motion for that particular ordinance, and then it's a second, then you make a motion to amend in.
I move to bring out ordinance 13-20.
You brought it out already. It's motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Markovich. Is there any discussion on 1320?
Councilman Opinker, President, that was me, I seconded. So, for the record.
For the record, it wasn't Councilman Markovich, it was Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion on 1320? Oh, the amendment.
I move to amend ordinance 1320 as follows. On page 2, section F, second sentence, starting with the word if the work is included in permit of general contractor, then no additional permit fee will be charged. That should be moved to page 3, near the bottom where it says all other parentheses, $50 minimum, close parentheses. That sentence should be put right below that. I so move.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higgs on the amended version for 1320. Is there any discussion? Carmen, roll call vote on the amended version of 1320.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kelwinsky.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. 1320 amended version passes 7-0. Now on the original ordinance 1320 is written.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kelwinsky.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. 1320 passes 7-0.
It's really 8-0, isn't it? 8-0. It's only 8 here, no 9. It's 8.
Oh, 8-0, I'm sorry.
9 in spirit.
Moving on.
1321, an ordinance amending ordinance number 3947, also known as section 156.11 of the Hammond Municipal Code, pertaining to plumbing registration procedures and fees in the city of Hammond.
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I move for third and final passage of ordinance 13-21.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion? Carmen, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kelwinsky.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. 1322 passes 8-0.
1322, an ordinance creating a new chapter of Title XV Land Usage of the Hammond Municipal Code as it pertains to limited criminal background checks for contractor licenses issued in the city of Hammond.
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
I move for third and final passage of ordinance 13-22.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Emerson, second by Councilman Spitali for final passage of 1322. Is there any discussion? Carmen, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kelwinsky.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. Ordinance 1322 passes 8-0. Moving on. Number 10, introduction of ordinances.
1323, an ordinance to make additional appropriations from the rainy day fund of the Hammond Public Library to its services and capital outlay accounts.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I move ordinance 1323 on first and second reading by title and refer to council as a whole with a public hearing scheduled on June 10th, 2013. I so move.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion? All those in favor on first and second reading, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First and second passes.
1324, an ordinance to make additional appropriation from the rainy day fund of the Hammond Public Library to its services account.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I move 13-24 on first and second reading by title and refer to council as a whole with a public hearing scheduled on June 10th, 2013. I so move, Mr. President.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? First and second reading passes.
1325, an ordinance concerning operation of golf carts.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I move that 1325 move on first and second reading by title and refer to council as a whole. I so move, Mr. President.
Second.
It's motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali. Move first and second reading. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First and second passes. Carmen, resolutions.
13R-15, resolution opposing imposition of county income tax.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich.
move for final passage and adoption of 13R-15.
It's a motion by Councilman Markovich. Do I have a second? Do I have a second? Resolution fails. Moving on.
13R-17, a resolution authorizing the Hammond Fire Department to apply for a 2013 Indiana Department of Homeland Security grant.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
I move for final passage of 13R-17.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Hinojosa, second by Councilman Higgs. Is there any discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
this is for, to apply for some grant money, which is $4,000 that has to be approved by the council, and it's for new harnesses for the fire department.
Any other discussion?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor of that particular.
Any other discussion? Carmen, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Hinojosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. 13R-17 passes 8-0. Carmen? 13-18.
Oh, that's right. You're right, you're correct.
That ends the resolution. Let's move on to new and unfinished business.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
I move to suspend the rules under new and unfinished business to bring out an ordinance that didn't get on the agenda.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Kowinski, second by Councilman Spitali to suspend the rules. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Rules are suspended.
Thirteen 26, an ordinance authorizing the City of Hammond, Indiana, to issue its Economic Development Revenue Bonds, Series 2013 Marina District Project, and approving other actions in respect thereto.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
I move that 13-26 move through first and second reading and be referred to council as a whole.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Kowinski, second by Councilman Hinojosa to move 13-26 in council as a whole, first and second reading. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First and second passes on 13-26.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
I move that we return to the regular order of business.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Kowinski, second by Councilman Higgs to move back the regular order of business. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
the Hammond Police Department invites you to join us in remembering our brothers and sisters who have taken ultimate steps in helping and protecting others. Our services will be held on the front line of the Hammond Police Department at 509 Douglas Street on Wednesday, May 22nd, 2013 at 2 p.m. Please plan to arrive by 1:45 p.m. and assemble in front of the building. A police officer's prayer.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I would like to make a motion that at 1047 Ames Street, that a letter goes to engineering and code enforcement in regards to that particular property. It needs to be demolished, and it's been sitting vacant, and it's really a nuisance to the community. I so move, Mr. President.
There's a motion by Councilman Higgs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Spitali to send a letter to engineering code enforcement. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
also like to send a letter to code enforcement in regards to the money that's allocated throughout the city for demolition. I'd like to see an analysis of all the properties that's been demoed thus far and which ones are on the list to be demoed. I so move.
Second.
It's a motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Spitali to send a letter to building department as far as demo projects that have been completed. All those in favor? All those in favor to have a letter sent? We had a first and second.
Say that what?
We had a first and second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes to send a letter. Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
currently I see there's a number of projects going in terms of parks throughout the city. I'm certainly looking forward to seeing some renovation done at MLK. And certainly I would like to see what's the plan besides the current plan at Harrison Park with tennis courts. I want to see some more rides for the kids as well. So if I can get a feasibility study done on that, and I guess we would need to send it to economic development to find out where we're at and what needs to be done to get that completed, it would be greatly appreciated. I so move.
It's a motion by Councilman Higgs. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Spitali to send a letter to Park Department, park improvements. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
motion to send a letter to the Hammond Police Department for extra patrols to watch Nebraska Drive south of 173rd due to home break-ins.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hinojosa, second by Councilman Spitali to send a letter, where was that to?
To
Police Department.
Police Department.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
we're kind of waiting on the actually design to be completed on Kenwood. It's due for one of my projects to be completed for Kenwood from Calumet to Columbia. And for whatever reason, it's taken a long time for them to get this off the ground. So I'm going to send request a letter be sent to engineering in regards to where we're at in the particulars of that particular project. I so move.
Motion by Councilman Higgs, second by Councilman Hinojosa to send a letter. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
last but not least, I just want to reemphasize what the procedure was in regards to the library issue. It went to first and second reading. We're going to have a first and second reading by title, and then it went to council as a whole, so that means the entire body is going to look at those particular ordinances. Then there will be a committee meeting and a public hearing scheduled on the same day, and hopefully on June 10th, it will be all completed. That's the target date.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Emerson.
with the recent rain event a few weeks ago, I guess, a constituent had a real problem in his basement. The pipe that goes down into your basement floor, there's another pipe that comes out of that, and I don't know the correct term, used for rotting out when that's plugged up. Well, the force of whatever went on with the rain event popped that part off, and it hit the wall. That's how strong the force was. Anyway, long story short, he had leaves and whirlybirds and other, we won't mention other things, coming up in the basement. Well, since that time, he has told me no less than 5 times the big truck with the vacuum, and it has a technical name, I don't know what it is, that sanitary board department uses. Vactor, did somebody say? Vacuum truck. Yes, vacuum truck. Well, that's what I call it. Anyway, they have been relentless in trying to get his manhole drain cleaned out. So, I mean, just to let people know that they do that all over the city, and I'm not aware how many trucks we have. I know we have more than one. We have 3, did somebody say? I just want to get that in, that they did a great job. And I hope that the next rain event, his sewer flows freely.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Venez.
for those who wish to be informed about what is going on in your neighborhood and do good in your neighborhood, I have a list of Crime Watch meetings that are coming up. Being that we will not meet until the 10th of June, the list is a little bit long, so please bear with me. Tomorrow night, Citywide Crime Watch meets 6 p.m. at the Hammond Police Department. Wednesday, May 15th, Lafayette Crime Watch meets at Lafayette School, 6:30 p.m. Thursday, Hessville Crime Watch, that is this Thursday, May 16th, Hessville Crime Watch at the Jean Shepherd Center at 7 p.m. Also on Thursday, May 16th, 7 p.m., the South Hammond Crime Watch meets at the Hammond Housing Authority building. On Tuesday, May 22nd, the East Hammond Pullman Crime Watch meets 6:30 p.m. at the Ophelia Steen Center. On Wednesday, May 29th, the Columbia Crime Watch meets at Columbia School, 6:30 p.m. On Wednesday, May 29th, the Jefferson Crime Watch meets at Jefferson School, 6:30 p.m. On Friday, May 31st, 8:30 a.m., Irving Community Watch meets at Irving School. And, hold on Tuesday, June 4th, Edison Community Watch meets at 6:30 p.m. at Edison School. And on Wednesday, June 5th, 5 p.m., the Harrison Park Crime Watch meets at the VFW on Holman Avenue. With the weather getting warmer and things happening in our neighborhoods, we all need to look out our window. We all need to call the police. We all need to know what is going on in our neighborhood. So we've been called do-gooders, but these are the people who keep our neighborhoods safe and keep our police department informed as to some of the activity in our neighborhoods. I urge you all to go to your Crime Watch, local Crime Watch meeting or any other Crime Watch meeting, and you will find a wealth of information about our city. So I look forward to seeing you all there. That is how change happens. One gesture, one person, one moment at a time. Thank you.
Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. Chairman.
Councilman Markovich.
2 weeks ago, our city council meeting was canceled. And statements were being made to the news media saying that things would happen tonight. And I'm just going by quotes what's in the newspaper. My resolution failed to get a second. And if we're going to have discussion tonight at this time, I would request, Mr. Opinker, that you step down as president and get in our debate, because the council president's not allowed to debate issues from the chair. So anyway, it was brought up where I had this resolution against the county income tax. And several statements were mentioned in the news media from Monday, April 22nd's paper, which was supposed to have been the night of our council meeting. Says there's really not, Councilman Opinker, there's really not anything on there on the agenda that needs attention at this moment. There's nothing that can't wait, I should say. Mr. Opinker said council members will bring up Markovich's resolution the next time they meet. That's tonight. And I brought it up and I couldn't get a second for whatever reason. Council members were also to discuss combined $526,000 in appropriations for the library. The next regularly scheduled council meeting is slated for May 13th, that's tonight. I quote Councilman Opinker, "To be honest with you, I don't even know why Markovich is bringing that resolution out due to the fact that it has nothing to do with the Hammond City Council." Opinker said, "It's county." Well, I beg to differ. That is our responsibility here too as councilmen. 9 members of this city council. We're represented by 80,000 people, and we're supposed to act on their behalf. Councilman Higgs brought up about flooding in basements. I had water in my basement, and to this day, I don't know why that meeting was canceled. And nobody can give a reason, and there's only certain ways that you can cancel a meeting the same way that you can schedule a meeting. So anyway, I go on to say here in this article, Markovich said he's proposing the resolution because he has questions on how the tax may impact Social Security and other payments county residents receive, such as child support. Well, when I had discussion with Bill Dolan for about 20 minutes, nobody can give an answer whether your Social Security is going to be taxed. Since that time, we found out that only a partial of your Social Security is going to be taxed on the county income tax. Railroad pensions are going to be excused, and I believe there was one other item. But anybody that has a 401k and has a pension, you take that money off to live off of, you're going to be taxed on it. People that are familiar with traditional IRAs and you move that money from a traditional to a Roth, where you pay the taxes on it and you put it in your Roth account so it can grow, you still cannot touch that money for 5 years. But yet with this county income tax, you're going to be taxed on your money that you're using to save to put in your Roth IRA, which you're being double taxed.
That's right.
You're taxed by the traditional, and you're being taxed again by the county council. Child support, alimony, your savings, your dividends. You know, the comment was made, like Pelosi, go ahead and pass it, and we'll figure it out later on. You know, for somebody to say it's county has nothing to do with us. There were several cities and towns that passed resolutions saying they are in favor of it. They want it, okay? When they had the meeting Friday at 8:30, there was the headlines in Cherville. The Cherville Town Council said they are against it. You know, I took people by their word. We were supposed to act on it. And they can hide behind a thing that I couldn't get a second. And that's why I'm asking Councilman Opinker to step down and get in the debate and give me that second so we can vote on it. And that's all I'm asking.
Any other new
There was
unfinished
no
business?
other reason to cancel the meetings for that night. And I have 2 parts to this discussion here, because I want to know who are the 5 people that said that they couldn't meet. When we call a special meeting, you have to have signatures of 5 people to have a special meeting. You also need 5 signatures to cancel a meeting. I did not even get the courtesy from a council member why the meeting was canceled. I got it from a secretary, and the secretary couldn't even tell me why it was canceled. I had water in my basement. Supposedly a lot of councilmen use that excuse that they had water in their basement. I sure as hell, when I get water in my basement Thursday, I'm not going to wait till Monday night, the night of the council meeting, to start cleaning it out. I just want to know, because all the calls I got about water in the basement and so forth, Councilman Higgs brought it up, Mr. Emerson brought it up. You know what? I showed up to that meeting. But you know what? People believe the newspaper sometimes. They said the meeting was canceled and nobody showed up. But was it canceled legally? No. Proper notice wasn't given. Proper procedures weren't done. What's the big deal about it? Was it the resolution? I didn't want to go on record and say that. You be the judge on that. Was it the resolution? Why was there special meetings called by the county council? They didn't even give their 48 hours notice, and then their meeting on that Friday night had to be canceled because the proper notice wasn't given to the newspaper. So they did it the following week, and then they did it, and they rushed it. They were supposed to meet tonight, or today, May 13th, the county council. What did they do? They had another special meeting. Was it all because of my resolution? You be the judge. But we were hired to represent the people. People gave their word. Your word has to be good. And if you don't have your word or your good name, you have nothing, and the people have nothing also.
Amen.
So all I'm asking is for Councilman Opinker to step down and second my resolution so we can take action on it under new and unfinished business. Thank you.
Is there any other new unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
well, I certainly want to speak and address that issue so that everybody's clear as to where I am. I was kind of
Mr. Chairman, point of order. If we're going to have discussion on my resolution, then it has to be brought up first, motion and seconded, then we can have discussion. If somebody wants to give how they are going to vote or what they're going to do or how they feel, then bring the resolution on the floor and let's discuss it like Robert's Rules and Order says it's supposed to be done, and we'll discuss it. Other than that, if nobody wants to bring it out, you, the people out there, can take it for whatever way you want to believe it. If they don't want to bring it out, then they don't want to act on it, and you know what? Probably they're in favor of the county income tax. Because you know it and I know it, when somebody doesn't want to vote on something, they walk out the door, or they hide it, or they try to destroy it. And all I'm asking is for a fair issue, a fair hearing, and a fair representation of the people who called me and told me to bring it up and do it. Other councils have voted in favor of it, others have rejected it, and nobody knew. And you know what? We're taking a big hit. We're taking a big hit on this county income tax because it's not being done right. My definition of wages is when you go to work and you get a paycheck, you pay the county income tax on it. But you leave my savings alone where I paid the taxes on it already. You leave my dividends alone where I paid the taxes on it. You leave my IRA alone. You leave my pension alone. But it's bringing everything in. And it's hitting everybody where it hurts the most, in their pocket. The senior citizens, the people that have saved for their colleges, their kids' college education. It's going to kill us. I did some figuring, and I talked to Bill Dolan about it for 20 minutes, and nobody can give an answer about Social Security. But we talked about the big economic boom at BP Amoco, where they had 12,000 outside contractors working there. They didn't even live in Lake County, the majority of them. So yet they came there, and if they make $40 an hour, 80 hours a day, that's $320 a day. Now, I may be wrong on the percentage, but I took the 0.025, which is $8 a day that each one of these workers would make. That's 5,000 workers a day. I based it on 5,000, but then I was told there was 12,000. So I did 8,000 workers times $32 a day. That's $2.5 million a day that those contractors would have paid into Lake County. We got a $15 million deficit that they were supposed to try and fix. We're going to get $2.5 million a day. $64,000 a day, 5 days a week, that's $320,000 a week, times 50 weeks was $16 million. That was our deficit. That would have wiped it out. Now, I'm not professing to be a math wizard. My figures may be wrong because I'm using the wrong percentage. But that was just the outside contractors that didn't even live in Lake County. They were coming here to work, getting their $320, $400 a day and going someplace else and spending it. You know? Plus the fact everybody keeps crying for jobs. How many jobs did they take away from the local people that live here in Lake County? Couldn't get in there and work because you had these outsiders coming and taking their jobs away. But yet, what does everybody say? The people of Lake County are not qualified to work. That's what they say. They're not qualified to work. I mean, I want to say I'm sorry, but I'm not.
Well, I am too.
But this needs to be addressed. Step up to the plate, and I want to say, show your true colors and represent your people. And that's where it's at. It's not a county issue. This is our issue. It's our issue. Every one of you out there, all 80,000 people, but yet we still don't know why this meeting was canceled. And was it because of the resolution? I guess I've given you enough information that you be the judge, and that's where it is. And all I'm asking is for the people of Hammond, all 80,000, to get a fair hearing on this resolution and take action on it. Whether you like it or not, step up to the plate and be a man or a woman and represent the people like you were elected to do. But don't say it's a county issue. It's a county issue. The other cities and towns councils addressed it. Some voted for it. Some voted against it. That's all I'm asking. That's what we were elected to do.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
what's the motion?
There is no motion. Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we bring back out 13R-15, resolution opposing the imposition of a county income tax. I so move.
Mr. President, point
Second.
of order. Mr. President, point of order.
Councilman Hinojosa.
Before you bring out a resolution, you have to suspend the rules to bring that resolution
That's
out.
correct, Councilman Hinojosa.
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Venez.
You got to suspend it.
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. President.
Councilwoman Venez, you have the floor.
Thank you. First of all, this tax has passed. This tax has passed. It will serve no useful purpose for us to bring this up and discuss it. Second, back in 2007, Councilman Markovich already had a resolution that was sent to the county, the state, and everybody else opposing the imposition of this county option tax. And the council voted in favor of that, 9-0, in favor of the opposition to that. So how many times are we going to bring this up? Granted, it was a while ago, but how many times do we have to state our opinion on this? As far as the implication that something fishy went on with the last meeting, I communicated to my president, and I did not need to communicate to you why I was not able to make that meeting. I have made every single meeting. Back in 2007, when you brought out this resolution in opposition to the county option tax, you said, you know, we needed to get the state involved, the county involved. I didn't see any buses going to Indianapolis. I didn't see any buses out of Hammond organized by any of the council people going to Indianapolis in opposition of this tax, or to Crown Point for that matter. So I don't see any useful purpose for rehashing something that's over and done with. We're not going to change the vote.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
as I was trying to state earlier, in regards to this particular situation, I question as to why the meeting was canceled. When I spoke to the president of the council, he spoke to me and said that actually there was a flooding issue. So, give or take, that's what was told to me. Whether it been last meeting or this meeting, I'm prepared to vote on whatever comes before me. That's just how I was raised. In regards to this, do I think it's good? On one hand, it is. On the other hand, it's going to hurt some people. I'm going to be honest. And a lot of people are not going to be happy when they get their tax bill, regardless. But the reality of it is that what's going to happen is that every city, surrounding city, is going to need to bring some businesses here quickly. Are you going to see people walking away from their property? Because people are struggling just to keep a roof and food on their table. And I can give you conversation after conversation of individuals that have approached me and personally said, I'm having a hard time just trying to maintain. With additional tax, it's going to hurt. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. But if this body, fiscal body, is prepared and ready to vote on it, I'm okay with it. I know where I stand on the issue. And I know how it went down and who voted for what. But the bottom line, the voters have to make a decision. And when you go to the polls, you vote for the person that has your best interest. That's the bottom line. That's how I roll. I can't speak for everybody else. There you have it.
Any other new unfinished business?
Mr. Chairman, point of order. This resolution was listed under, on the agenda, and because it didn't get a second, it's still on the agenda and can be brought back out under new and unfinished business. And that's what I am planning to do. I'm bringing Resolution 13-R-15 out for action. I so move.
Excuse me,
Point of order.
Councilman Markovich.
Mr. President, point of order.
Councilor Berger, can we have a answer on that question?
Yeah, I don't think this question is directly covered by Robert's Rules of Order, but it seems to me when a motion fails for lack of a second, it's the same as it's defeated by an 8-to-1 vote. So
Thank you,
I think it
Councilor
has to be
Berger.
Reconsidered.
Pardon me?
I think the only way you could get it up is to reconsider, and you have to be on the winning side in order to make a
And they have to
motion to
vote.
reconsider.
Everybody has to vote on your side in order for it to be brought up again in the same.
Well, I can make a motion to reconsider. I'm on the winning side. I represent the people.
I'll second your motion. I don't have a problem with that.
I think the motion's out of order, Mr. President.
You're correct, Councilor.
Mr. Chairman, I want to thank Mr. Berger for his thing, and I would request that the clerk put this on the agenda for next council meeting. Thank you.
Any other new unfinished business? New unfinished business is now closed. Public expression. Our first speaker of the evening will be Ms. Ann Herbert.
Good evening, council members. My name is Ann Herbert, and I am a resident of the 3rd District in Hammond. I've been a volunteer for the American Red Cross since 2005 and was first deployed to Biloxi, Mississippi to support the disaster relief following Hurricane Katrina. As everyone knows, the Red Cross is always there in times of need. This brings me to the flooding that happened in April in the Midwest, including the Chicago area and Hammond, where a record rainfall flooded basements and rivers. The Red Cross volunteers from across the country arrived in Chicago to assist our chapter and regional offices to provide to those affected food, shelter, clothing, cleaning supplies, nursing and counseling, referrals to other organizations for assistance, and other services. When I discovered my basement had flooded, I had no idea 139 calls were being made to the mayor's office for flood assistance. I canvassed my neighborhood and found others had flooded basements too. I contacted the Red Cross asking for cleanup kits to replace the residents' supplies already used to clean their basements the prior week. I was asked to assist with the kit distribution in Hammond, and although the flooding in the Chicago area was more devastating than in Hammond, the Red Cross offered to have cleanup kits delivered to Hammond via trailer shipments. On Friday, April the 26th, I contacted the mayor's office to ask if the Red Cross could receive permission to park a trailer at the Hammond Civic Center parking lot. When that wasn't an immediate option, the Regional Red Cross office in Chicago decided the cleanup kits would be delivered within Hammond via the Hammond EMA's administration vehicles and 4 Red Cross emergency response vehicles. Distribution of the kits took place on April the 29th and the 30th. On April 29th, approximately 10:30 a.m., Hammond 3rd District Councilman Anthony Higgs called the Chicago Regional Office to complain that the Red Cross was not doing anything for Hammond. No one has a clear understanding why Councilman Higgs was complaining because as he spoke, the kits were delivered or being delivered to Hammond. Up until the 29th, Councilman Higgs was directing individuals to the North Township for assistance. He spoke to 2 Red Cross volunteers. Both he cursed. Again, both he cursed. When I received the call from Chicago, I was shocked and embarrassed that he was not only disrespectful, but unprofessional. No one knows why he felt the need to curse individuals representing an international organization to get any point across. The Red Cross has been contacted Councilman Higgs' employer about this issue. This type of behavior is not acceptable from any elected official. This is not the first instance of Councilman Higgs cursing. Less than 6 months ago, he cursed the female owner of Nick and George's restaurant, located on Holman Avenue in Hammond. I am truly and totally embarrassed to admit to the Red Cross that this is my representative in my district and the city of Hammond. I give thanks to the mayor's office, the Hammond EMAs, North Township, and the many residents of Hammond who showed their appreciation for the blessings received from the Red Cross. Ann Herbert, 3rd District, Hammond.
Thank you, Ms. Herbert. Next speaker will be Carlotta Blake King.
Good evening, Council. Carlotta Blake King, 1004 Highland Street. I just want to talk about our last rain event as well. I did attend the Mayor's Night Out to express my concern. And basically, I'm asking and encouraging the council to suggest or write a letter that during these kinds of rain events, that a 24-hour hotline be developed or a body of people somewhere where folks can call or go in to see what they can do. Unfortunately, I was out of town during this rain event. When I got home to over a foot of water. So it was like 11:30 that night. I said, well, I wish I could call somebody, and of course I couldn't. So, and then there was information shared at the Mayor's Night Out that I was never made aware of. A number was given to call a department within the city, indicating that if you can get a plumber, that the city would reimburse you $500. So I took that number down, called several times. You couldn't even leave a message. And I shared that number with several neighbors, and they had the same problem. They couldn't even get through. So if these kinds of things are available for citizens, everybody should know about it. It shouldn't happen, and then you go to a meeting and you find out, well, this is what you can do. And so I'm just hoping that some kind of 24-hour hotline could be developed, or a body of folks could be somewhere where you can get some kind of assistance. And during that meeting as well, as Mrs. Herbert indicated, they kept talking about 139 calls. And it was my understanding that if you don't call in, the city can't really document how many people were actually affected by that rain event. And so I told them, add my name and make it 140. Everybody laughed and thought it was funny. I didn't think it was funny. But I had nowhere to call that evening. So I'm just asking that some way we develop some kind of system, especially for senior citizens and folks that live in their basements, of where they can go and what to do in the event of a rain event. And then my only other comment regarding the library, I'm indeed excited that it seems that we're moving forward, getting the library funds appropriated to them, but I still think it was messy. I mean, I'm just asking everybody to stop playing with our heads. You know, the thought of losing your only library in this city is crazy. People are put on stress for nothing. We have other things to deal with, to address, other than losing a library, which was insane. So I'm just hoping that, you know, just as we resolved it tonight, perhaps we could have resolved this 8 months ago. You know, if all it took as separating the ordinances, I mean, it took 8 months to figure that out. So let's be leaders, let's use our administrative skills and do the right thing for our citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. King. Next speaker will be Charlene Kirscheiper.
To God be the glory.
Good evening. I live in the 6th District. I don't know if there is any ordinance or law that would cover property that is owned by a large corporation. It is not developed, it's woods, but it is being used and abused by these, I don't know what they call these things, these ATVs. Does that sound like the things that you ride on through sand and everything? In the winter, it's the snowmobiles. This is constant. This is 7 days a week unless it's raining. I don't blame the police department. By the time I would call them, these people are long gone. There's so many ways to get out of those woods. I don't know if there's any law that says this property should be posted as private. I was able to get the name of the owner and in Crown Point, but I don't know if they're going to pay any attention to me if I call them. I'm just a person. I represent no legality about it. And I'm not sure there is any law. There's a couple of bumper kind of things, but there's not total fencing or anything like that. The property is not at all maintained. I mean, trees fall, everything happens back there. There's a lot of nonsense that goes on up there, too. There's been paintball competitions, I guess you'd call it. Kids are up there. I'm not going to say they're doing anything. I don't know what they're doing. Obviously, I'm not in any position to climb in up the hill and find out what's going on. A few years ago, a young boy was seriously burned in there, playing with some kids, and I thought at that time there should have been something done about it. This lies between Kennedy Park or Brook Forest Apartments is on the north side. This is right behind the water tower, and it kind of is a dog leg. It goes around. And I don't know what to do. The only reason I find it very irritating is I unfortunately have a situation at home of serious illness with my husband. And we can't open the windows or anything because of this. It's just constant. I mean, if someone got hurt up there, I don't know what would happen. I don't know what the liability would be. I don't know who would be responsible. But please understand, I'm not blaming the police department. I just, by the time I would call them, as I say, they'd see them, they'd be long gone. So I don't know if there is any law, ordinance, or anything that says the company would have to secure this property in some way. I can tell you who owns it. I have it here. If anyone is interested.
Who owns it?
I'm sorry?
Who owns it?
It says Gray Court Incorporated out of Oak Brook Terrace, Illinois.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
The next speaker will be Lieutenant Colonel Daggett.
I'll get there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't want to fall.
Take your time. Mr. President, to this honorable council.
Sir.
My name is Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Antonio Daggett. I'm a proud resident of the 2nd District. I live at 33 Condit Street. My wife and I have given birth to 10 wonderful children, eight wonderful boys and 2 wonderful daughters. I come here at a time when we are in the process of celebrating Memorial Day. And I think it's so important for us to always maintain a focus on those who are paying such a dear price to keep our nation free, to allow you men and women to sit here and to legislate. It's so important to remember the sacrifices that are being made. If you've been watching the news somewhat, you know that the Taliban and the Al-Qaeda are now in the midst of their spring offensive. So we need to keep our men and women in our prayers as they are dealing with maintaining the defense of this particular nation. As a chaplain, you can imagine I've done quite a bit of counseling of military families and their couples, particularly during the course of the last 4 years, over 600 military couples. Obviously, with so many deployments, families are under enormous pressure. And again, we want to keep them in our prayers as we consider what they're dealing with. I want to make sure that we highlight at this particular time our military families. I thank the council for acknowledging the work of Veteran Views radio program. And we want to continue to encourage to focus Hammond's support and attention around our military persons. As they are returning from various deployments, we're going to be dealing with a lot of issues. And we need to make sure we have a support structure that allows our military men and women to transition back into civilian life. We have a high rate of suicide among our young people in the military. I'm sure you're aware of that. And we have some other things that we're struggling with. So Hammond needs to be proactive, be prepared for the returning of our young people as they are coming. And I want to encourage this council to always keep that in the forefront of your minds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Colonel. Next speaker will be Kitten Gray.
Good evening, Council. First off, I'm really glad that everything is going to go forward with the library. Thank you for voting the right way. Secondly, I got flood water in my basement, and I did try to call that number. I went to the mayor's night out, and I was actually the one who asked the question, what was Hammond prepared to do for its citizens? And I found out that there was monies available if they come out and evaluate your basement and give you suggestions on what to do, and they'll pay 50% up to $500 to help you resolve your water issues. So I think that the citizens of Hammond should know about that. But I would like to get through one day on the line to speak to somebody about getting the help that I need in my basement.
Wait a minute. I need to know who you need to contact in regards to that.
I have it
What's
written
the
down.
phone number?
Does anyone know the number? No, I have it written down at home, but there was someone who gave us a number at the meeting.
It's a sanitation district. I don't have a-
Sanitation district,
Right,
but there was a
sanitation.
name. There was a name. And that was the first time I even heard of this $500.
And me too. Me too. This is all new to me too, baby.
Okay.
So I'm gonna jump on it.
Thank you. Okay, thirdly, I would like to thank Councilman Higgs for supporting my daughter, Atia Gray. She went on a historically black college tour, and he gave a donation to the cause. I did ask all of the councilmen for help, but Mr. Higgs was very generous in helping us out. She has written you a personal note, and I would like to read just her note. It says, "Dear Councilman Higgs, thanks for your support. It really meant a lot to me and my family. May God richly reward you for your good deeds. Most sincerely, Atia Gray." I also would like to share Atia's good news. She will be representing Hammond, as she always does when she leaves her community, in the Bahamas this summer. She will be traveling with the Shed Aquarium. She wants to be a marine biologist, and she was accepted into the marine biology program for teens at the Shed Aquarium. It's a 3-week program where she will actually live on a vessel in the ocean on international waters and dive from the vessel, studying marine biology. We're really proud of her. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Gray.
Thank you so much.
Next speaker will be Mr. George Stoya.
George Stoyer, Robertsdale. I find somewhat objectionable Mr. Markovich's request for a vote on something that's, for all intents and purposes, moot. Naturally, I'm cynical, I admit it. I think he wants to inflame everybody. I think the entire Republican Party of Lake County wants to inflame this issue. And they do it under the rubric, ideologically, that taxes are confiscatory, and they are not. And this is this whole Tea Party thing that's come into this county and obscured the real issues. The issues that one guy, anybody that knows Mike Repay, knows he is a fiscal conservative. Mike is conservative. And he's cut, everybody's been yelling at him, liberals and everything else over the time. Mike, you're not giving us a fair this, you're not giving us a fair that, yada, yada, yada. And this guy confronted his own personal ideology. Now think about this. And he confronted it and reality. Very difficult to do. To open his mind, to unlock everything that was battened down, all the systematic thinking and justifications. And he confronted it. He had to confront himself and confront reality. And guess who won? We did. Now, no one likes taxes. Nobody. And, all this stuff that Mr. Markovich and people of his persuasion, and this is a political persuasion, okay? So this is just one way, but he deliberated over this. And he chose, after everything was weighed in, probably a young guy, conservative, his family's conservative. We had Danny on this, his brother Dan, on this council for I don't know how many years.
His daddy, yeah.
And Dan was his father was conservative, Dan was conservative, Mike's conservative, and to suggest that this is somehow shady or otherwise or illegitimate, and to discount what this guy must have gone through is really to undermine the entire, is really to badmouth the guy. And I just don't think he deserves it. I think he deserves, if nothing else, whether his decision, it proves right for everybody or wrong for everybody. Yeah, taxes are going to hurt. Well, we've been hurting since 2007 when they imposed the freeze on us. Everybody's been hurting. Now, we're getting something back. We're going to be hurting. But it's 1.5% of your income. And some of that income that Bob talks about that's in various accounts that are earning interest, you're only taxed on the interest, not the principal. So that's just a little perspective on that. It's not comprehensive. I just sort of organized this based on what he was saying, so I don't have a full organized discourse here to present. I'm trying to read my notes here real quick. Again, he chose us, and that's what. He went beyond himself, and he chose us. He chose reality. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Stoya. Next speaker, last speaker of the night will be Alvin Cheeks.
Alvin Cheeks, 800 block of Merrill. First of all, Councilman Salinas, I know you're watching. I love you, my brother. What I like to say is I was out 3 o'clock in the morning during the flood. What happens is that Hammond doesn't have a condition orange. What that is, a federal emergency management dictates people to supply equipment. The equipment that I used to help Councilman Higgs was my own equipment and my friend's equipment. We didn't pick people, we just randomly picked people who had the biggest emergencies. The thing is, in Hammond, most people don't have a check valve, which a check valve only costs $20. I never get flooded because I installed the check valve. We need a condition orange plan. You get certified through the federal government, and what happens is that they bring in emergency equipment to those people who are certified. Being the fact of Hammond doesn't participate in the emergency management program through FEMA, you're not the first person on the list who receives emergency help. That help, and I congratulate you, Councilman Higgs, you was receiving water and you said help other people. Frank Mervan was there at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and we helped people. But we didn't help people with resources and dollars from the city of Hammond. We didn't help people with resources from the federal government. That equipment was mine, and I asked could I help Councilman Higgs with those people. So, and I thank Larry Menards and Home Depot and Granger for supplying us with the heavy-duty pumps. If you took heat, Councilman Higgs, I had to take part of that heat because you helped other people. And it's a lot of talk going around about what happened that day. I was up in the morning. I don't work for anybody. I decided who went first. So if anybody was mad about who got helped, I helped the people who needed the help most. Some of the people we had to cut holes in the wall to get the water out fast. So it's that we just need a plan, and just people have to go to the class to receive the certification. It's free through the federal government, and that's what happens. Secondly of all, it's been a lot of shooting in the park. Like I told those young guys this morning, my son plays in the park, and he still will play in the park. You know, it's outside people who are creating the gunfire in our community, and it's a shame that the young people in this area, they're getting the heat for the gunfire that's coming. It's not from them. So I just like to say that, you know, don't always judge those young guys just because you see them running or you see them with their pants saying all of them are not bad, because they even helped older people clean out their basements and stuff. So I want to thank you, Councilman Higgs, for responding. And it gets heated when some people think that their emergency is greater than others or they losing things. You know, I had a friend whose house, it was floating, literally. The stuff in the basement was floating. So I thank you for that, Councilman Higgs. And I took time away from my son to go out and help people. So that's all I have to say. And once again, Councilman Salinas, I'm going to smoke a Cuban on you.
Thank you, Mr. Cheeks. That's it with our speakers for the evening. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Councilman Emerson,
Mr.
second by
Mr.
Councilman
President.
Spitali. All those in favor?
Mr. President,
There's a motion on the floor to adjourn. Councilman Higgs?
I wanted to go back to new and unfinished business for 1 second. I make that motion.
Did we vote?
No.
No, we didn't vote.
So the motion is to go back to the
There's a
regular order.
motion on the floor to go back to the regular order of business. Councilman Higgs, do I have a second? Second. Second by Councilman Hinojosa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
I just want to bring it back just a notch in regards to the particular issues that affect my community the most, which I represent the 3rd District. My line is always open, no matter what. It doesn't make a difference who you are, where you live. You can live in Hestville. If you call me, I'm going to respond. And as far as me reaching out to Red Cross, I never made a phone call to Red Cross. Red Cross called me. So I just wanted to make that clear so the perceptions is not out there. The reality of it is Red Cross reached out to me. I never made a phone call to them. I realize that some people are not, no matter what you do, they're not going to be happy with who you are as a person. But one thing I do know, what God has for me, it is for me. That's all I have to say.
Mr. President,
Councilman Hinojosa.
motion to make, go back to the regular order of business. Second.
Motion by Councilman Hinojosa, second by Councilman Kowinski. Go back to regular order of business. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Now may I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn, Mr. President.
Motion by Councilman Hinojosa, second by Councilman Higgs. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Have a good evening, folks.